Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got from Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch. And that's the fact that last night, along with the event quest that Capcom brought us over, an icy blade so bright that puts you up against a ghost rag to get you some shady shades, basically layered armor, Capcom also dropped a brand new downloadable PALAMUTE option. For this brand new PALAMUTE, they're calling One Ogre. According to the developers, the naming and the visuals are essentially a mixture of a Zinogre. They're trying to make it look green and yellow. But there's an even bigger implication with this brand new downloadable PALAMUTE. So I do want to read what their description is. A following item is being introduced, the downloadable PALAMUTE One Ogre. A special PALAMUTE is coming your way. Hire them as a buddy and take them out on the hunts with you. There's a note. After collecting this PALAMUTE, they can be hired through the Hire Special Buddy option from the Buddy Scout. If you dismiss them, they can be rehired as a Special Buddy once again. So if you simply make your way down to your Buddy Scout, essentially to hire a brand new buddy, you should be able to see this brand new option called Hire a Special Buddy. And once you confirm it, you should see a brand new notification. It says that this option allows you for hiring of buddies via downloadable content or other special means. This is very important for the future. Unlike normal buddies, they have fixed names and other parameters. So when it comes to this specific One Ogre PALAMUTE, essentially he comes with like a dual chain blade, a steel fang. His fighting style is set to basic. And his skills are health up large, attack up large, critical up large, elemental attack up, Artful Dodger, negate paralysis, negate stun, and earplugs. So originally it was thought to be a little bit of an attacker, but this is pretty much an all-rounder. It has all the attack capabilities that you would actually want it to have, but then it negates and it has earplugs, which is pretty much battle ready. Now on its own, this One Ogre new PALAMUTE and the addition of it is cute, it's nice, it's not necessarily going to do anything special for you. It's level 35, so it's not even level 50, so you do actually have to go ahead and level it up and gear it up and, you know, set it up to whatever customizations you want to have and all that. So that's all fine and dandy. But the real implication here is the fact that they're giving you this brand new option where they're going to provide you with brand new Palicos and essentially new PALAMUTEs that are hopefully set to round out your PALAMUTE and Palico roster. So think about it this way. If you don't necessarily have like a bomber type Palico, now they're probably going to end up providing you with the best type of bomber Palico. If you don't have a really good gatherer, which you probably should already, since gatherers are pretty much the best type of Palicos you should have, they're probably going to end up providing us with one. The best healer. This is the feature that we saw back in like Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter 3, and definitely Generations and Generations Ultimate, where they were essentially providing us with like Palicos, back then PALAMUTEs weren't around, that could round out their skills properly. So you didn't necessarily have to go ahead and try to get the best healer, because eventually they would just give you one. So you didn't have to put in all the work. Remember that the skills in this game are all set to random, and they're extremely annoying to essentially get the proper order and be able to get the proper one that you need. So it's all based on luck. There's no real way to teach your Palico or your PALAMUTE a very specific skills that you want them to have, which it is a bit of a pain in the butt, to be quite honest with you. This is something that a lot of people have been hoping that gets added into the future. I don't think it will. This is something that is most likely going to get addressed at a G rank update whenever the game essentially gets a second leg, its fulfillment, if you will. So this is something that we're most likely not actually going to see in the game implemented properly until we get to that point. So this is about the next best thing, and probably, realistically speaking, the easiest way for them to provide us with a perfect Palico, a perfect PALAMUTE. Essentially the way that the game should be played once you are able to cap out those skills and be able to teach them the proper skills and abilities that you would want them to have. So this is something that is essentially just they're adding a feature that was already available in previous Monster Hunter games that simply was missing in this one. So I do like that fact. They're adding new features to the game that, although they may not necessarily seem all that big or all that important, they do come in handy at some point in time. Now there is that situation of the fact that you can't necessarily change the way they look, and you certainly can't change their name. This is actually something that the prompt mentions specifically. I did see a pop-up screen somewhere that it said like, you cannot change their name and you cannot change their look. So that is a bit of a bummer. So let's say this PALAMUTE does have like essentially all of the attack skills lined up, so it's the best attacker no matter what. but now you're stuck with this one ogre name and it's essentially green. So what if I don't like that color? What if I don't like that name? I'm basically stuck with it no matter what. So I don't remember if in the old games they came with fixed names. I don't remember that part. Maybe they did and I just actually don't remember. So maybe that was just simply the way they was done back then, and they're going to do it in the same way now. But I do wish they gave you the option to actually go ahead and change the name at the very least. And if the colors are preset, it is what it is. But ultimately, I do recommend you guys go ahead and pick this up, this brand new PALAMUTE one ogre. You can obviously go into the Steelworks, go down to the add-ons tab and make sure you could just click on it. Any sort of white additions that you should be able to have, especially the event quests, go ahead and pick those up, add them into your game. And one ogre should be one of them. So you should be able to see this brand new tab in the buddy scout page where it tells you to go ahead and add a brand new buddy. Hopefully this, again, they make use of this thing in the future as they give us more palicles, specifically the palicles, because again, those are the ones that are a little bit more efficient. I think palamutes are fine as they are, but the palicles to me necessarily are a little bit better in like just rounding out your playstyle, especially the healer ones. If you haven't necessarily picked up a healer one, that just kind of like rounds out your healing. So if you don't necessarily want to rely on you having to heal yourself all the time, having a healing palico is just a blessing. Especially having two of them almost makes it broken, which is really funny. So if you're struggling playing in single player and stuff like that, having two healing palicos just almost breaks the game completely, because you're never gonna die unless you just get one hit KO'd. So you shouldn't ever get into a situation where you're gonna be in danger, especially with two healing palicos. But if you haven't put in the work to be able to actually scout one, or the right one, especially with all the proper skills and abilities and stuff like that, you're probably gonna run into that situation where, like, yeah, hopefully they add in the proper best healing buddy, although it might just end up being one that you end up gonna recruiting, but at the very least it's a good start. Although again, this is something that is pretty late into the game, in this game's life already. Remember that the game came out in March, we're already at July, almost at the end of July, and finally they're adding this feature. So I definitely do understand when people do make that cry of like, I do hope Monster Hunter Rise gets more content, more additions, more stuff like that. But when you start seeing like how late they've been to the game when it comes to some of these additions, I can certainly understand the frustration from other players when, you know, they say like they're hoping Capcom does get into the ball and actually starts adding, you know, some worthwhile additions, not necessarily minor little things like new buddies and stuff like that, but just more meaningful content, more meaningful bosses, new areas and stuff like that. I understand whenever I see comments in my videos like people are frustrated, like, hey, brand new glasses and that's it, ... Like, I understand that frustration, truly I do understand it, but you know, we do, like I keep telling you guys, we do have to understand the situation as at this point in time that Capcom is just playing catch up. But if you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.